spotted woodpeckers in the woods behind my house because I've seen it in the garden and flying around before, but any more drumming for a start? Nope, just corvids. Oh, and a dog. Shh, that's enough. Any bird life out there will have gone now. Hello, we are over halfway through the 30 Days Wild Challenge and I am on to day 16, and today's challenge and activity is to learn about swifts, swallows and house martins. So you may be wondering why I'm choosing to learn about these birds today, but it has been noted within recent years that these birds are in decline, very much like global animal populations and species the world over, whether it be mammals, insects, sea life, any kind of fish, amphibian, reptile creatures the world over. They are all suffering at the hands of climate change, which we are responsible for as humans, from the consequences of our actions, whether it be from fossil fuel usage, plastic pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, light pollution, whatever it may be. We are responsible pretty much 100% for the problems that these global species are experiencing. Swifts and swallows specifically have been added fairly recently to the red list, which highlights that their global populations are declining quite rapidly. So why is this happening? Three main reasons that have been noted so far are to do with nesting. Oops, there's always something that goes wrong. Let's hope there's no more breezes. So number one is nesting. Whether it be that existing households, as they are renovated, take away those kind of open spaces within roof areas around the eaves that swifts specifically and other migratory species and any other bird life may like to use for nesting areas, particularly through the breeding season when they migrate over to the UK. That's one problem. Or with new build housing or any building in particular, they may not have kind of the facility to build nests in those, whether they just have no eave space or the way that roofs are built, they just have no way of accessing those sorts of areas. Another thing specifically within the breeding season is that because of all of this kind of like because of the fact that there are so many humans that exist and we need more space for the growing population, then more land is being taken up and there's just this level of disruption and disturbance during breeding season, specifically between May and September. Reason number two is to do with what these birds feed on, which is insects. And insects, very much like everything else, are in huge drastic decline of not just 10-20%, we're talking anything over 50 to 70, 90%. It's drastic drop in population and numbers, which is having severe impacts on other wildlife, whether it be mammal or bird life. If you were to think about it itself, if our global food chain were to collapse, which has the potential in the future, then what would we as humans do? There would be, drastic losses and health issues for humans if our food source was to disappear the way that it has for, other creatures that we share this planet with. And reason number three is to do with climate change in terms of weather and the risks of migration that these migratory birds are having to kind of go through over the last few seasons from Africa up to the UK and other areas within Europe up this way on their migratory path, that it is far more dangerous for them and risky now due to the unpredictable and extreme weather conditions that we are experiencing globe-wide. They're the three reasons, kind of like generally, that these bird populations are struggling with. What's wrong with you? Grumpy bum. Yes, grumpy bum. So to start with, before I start this little game that I've devised, why don't we talk about the identification of these birds? So I, from kind of a distance, maybe understand a little bit of what these birds look like, and not necessarily what they sound like, but their behaviours. So in front of me, this is a swift, this is a house martin, and this is a swallow. Nearly got that wrong myself then. So swift, house martin and a swallow. And I've got a infographic that I found from the RSPB on my phone, which I'll read a little bit of information about the birds, kind of physicality, so that you will be able to identify them yourselves, but I will also include this within the video and in the description link below, so you can check this out for yourself. So swifts are dark brown all over, appearing black against the sky, larger than swallows and martins, long curving wings, almost never seen perching, and spotted between April and August. Pop that back in there. Shh, shh. Who knew this would be so difficult? You're ruining my aesthetic. And you're ruining it too with your audio contributions, mister. Okay, so the next one is house martins. House martins have a glossy blue-black above, but with a bright white rump. They have a short forked tail and are spotted between March and October, so they're here a little bit longer than swifts are. And here too is a swallow. Swallows are glossy dark blue-black above with a creamy white below, with a dark red forehead and throat, very long deeply forked tail, so that would probably be more visible from the skyline, which have streamers on them and can be seen perching on wires and spotted between March to October. And another species within the martin kind of group is sand martins. I'll also put a picture of that in here too, and they are the smallest member of the swallow family, brown above and white below, with a brown band across its breast. So they're supposed to look a little bit like a house martin, with this kind of differential to the plumage on the breast area. Any more facts in my phone? Let's just have a wee look. And they have a short forked tail, and it's shorter than a house martin, and are spotted between March and October. So the idea of this game is that I've had my mum prepare some facts about each of these bird species for me. She's colour coded them on pieces of paper so that she knows which facts refer to which bird, but I don't. So I don't really know a lot about many of these bird species actually, so I thought this would be a good way of learning and kind of getting some more information together about swifts, swallows and house martins. And it's something that maybe if you wanted to kind of implement yourself with different species or different aspects of the environment, then you can go forward ahead and do it yourself. This is literally just a picture of the birds attached to a twig that I've collected from my garden. So I have 3 sets of facts that are blue, yellow and green. I got blue, yellow and green cups, just, you know, to keep it all looking a little bit twee and nice and a bit cliche maybe, but I just thought it would look aesthetically pleasing if I had cups that matched. I have no idea which clues are about which bird, but the only obvious thing about it is that obviously blue clues will refer to one bird, yellow to another, green to another, and I've got my mum's notepad just tucked on here so that I can find out the answer once I've read through the facts, kind of put them into a cup. I can even move these about. They're a bit, you know, they're interchangeable, so I'll, you know, if I don't think that the blue clues refer to a swift, then I'll just move it. Okay, so let's go with the green clues. Okay, clue number 1 is that this bird species migrates during the daylight. Number 2 is that they do not really walk. Number 3 is that during their migration they cover about 200 miles in a single day. Number 4, they are protected by the Wildlife and Countryside Act of 1981. And clue number 5 is that they migrate south in winter and can be seen in the UK from March to October. Okay, so that was something that I talked about earlier in this video. I can still hear the dog. And the species that were here between March and October were swallows and house martins, so possibly is between those two. I've also got audio clues for each bird, so I'll listen to those at the end. Let's go with the yellow clues. I'm going to read them all through first and then do a bit of mulling over. Number 1. This bird species is short-lived and mostly only breeds for 1 year. Clue number 2. They spend the winter months in Africa. Number 3. They are colonial masters with average group sizes of 4 to 5 nests. Clue number 4. It is illegal to knock a nest of this bird species off of a house. Clue number 5. They build nests on outer walls of buildings and under eaves. I'd say this is looking a bit like swifts. Number 6, the oldest wild bird recorded was 14 years old and 6 months. Okay. Blue clues. So, this bird species sleep, bathe, eat and mate on the wing. Number 2, fastest in level flight and with speeds of up to 69 miles per hour. See, now this is starting to sound like swifts. They all sound like swift clues. I suppose in terms of like species they are fairly similar in terms of their characteristics and behaviour, but they all belong to like a similar group that they are going to have facts that are fairly similar. Typical lifespan is 9 years. They have 4 toes which are arranged in 2 pointing sideways. So I don't know, I guess like that, but not with 4, it'd be like that maybe. Clue number 5. Eats more species of small insects and spiders than any other bird. Clue number 6. Can fly continuously for 10 months. Number 7. They use saliva for building nests in roof spaces. Oh, it's clear as mud to me. I'm not really got a gut feeling about any of them. Okay, let's give these a listen, shall we? These voice clues a listen. Let's go to the list. I better turn the volume down a bit or someone's going to be a bit... Right, okay, so we started with green, so we'll start with the green clue. Voice clue. I love birdsong. I wish I had better identification skills. Okay, that's green, so let's go with yellow. They do sound different, don't they? I might give these another listen. And the blue one, let's get that back up. Oh no! My clues. I think blue might be the swifts. I know I keep saying, it seems like I'm obsessing about swifts, but that high, screechy, pitched kind of call, birdsong call, I think that is swifts. So I am going to put the blue clues in the blue pot with the swifts. Right, let's read through the yellow and the thingy green clues again and see if I can figure something out. Builds nests on outer walls of buildings and under eaves. See, I do know a little bit about house martins. They tend to build like muddy kind of nests that they build up. I'm pretty sure I've seen them before. Colonial masters with average group size of 4 to 5 nests. Spend winter months in Africa. See, I always thought swallows did that, but you might find they all kind of go down to those warmer climate, equatorial kind of areas. Short-lived, most only breed for 1 year. I wonder where these clues are from. I'll have to find out, because how can it be short-lived and breed for only 1 year, but the oldest wild bird was 14 years old? I might have to check on my mother's sources for these. Right, let's go with green. Migrate south in winter. They don't walk, they migrate during daylight and cover about 200 miles in a day. I feel like that might be swallows. I'm going to listen to the thingy clues, the audio clues one more time. So we want yellow and then green. Go for yellow. Absolutely nothing, no recognition whatsoever. I'm useless. But that is the good thing about sitting and learning, because it's something I didn't know about. Right, let's find green. Knowledge is power, I always say. I like that. Still none the wiser. So this is going to have to be pure guessing. Okay, I'll go with yellow for swallows and green for house martins. But just before I do the big reveal about which is which, how can we as people help these bird species out which have such poor decline in population and numbers? So let me just pull up my Word document of a list. It's interesting to know that there is so much, there's a wealth of information out there. The RSPB specifically, the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds, is really, really great for information on about the birds and what their characteristics are and how their life cycle is and what you can do specifically in your community to help them out. So in terms of swift swallows and house martins, what is it that we can do to help? So number one is install a swift box up high so that birds can have somewhere to nest in their kind of usual kind of characteristic like habitat way up high. Number two, build a bog garden. Number three, leave mud exposed for birds to use in nests building. Swifts and swallows and house martins all, you know, kind of build their nests out of that sort of material. I think that that's important that they have that access to that, because I suppose with my garden specifically, it's all gravelled over, so we're not really helping those bird populations because we're not giving them access to somewhere boggy, somewhere where they can access insects or even mud to make their nests with. So even though I consider myself part of the solution for some insects and creatures, whether it be bees and pollinators, I in turn am causing a problem and not being particularly assisting for other species. And I think you'll find that there's no happy solution and pure solution to help everyone all in one go. You just have to find the best solution for you, that at least you're helping somebody. Okay, number 4 is have insect-friendly gardens or borders, and find out the plants and the flowers and the soil that are best for the insects that bird species and even mammals like to kind of feed upon. So improve your garden so that it is more beneficial to other species and not just, you know, aesthetically pleasing for you. I intend to build more kind of like natural areas in our garden, hopefully, fingers crossed, if it is allowed. Okay, and number 5, and I say and stress this quite often, let the grass grow. If you don't want to let the whole grass within your garden grow, leave an area specifically aside where wildflowers and grass can grow a bit longer, so that the birds have access to the invertebrates that so much depend on like these grassy grassland areas to live and habitate. And there you are. So some fairly kind of simple solutions what you can do in your tiny space within your kind of home, and community wide if you've got access to an allotment or a community garden where you can make a difference. I think that's, you know, one of my dreams is to have, you know, a small hold or an allotment where I can make it completely, you know, animal and insect and, you know, species friendly, and have that space specifically designed to cater to all of their needs rather than anything that might be, you know, for humans really. At the end of the day, I do feel that from this challenge I am so enjoying it, but it just feels that I'm kind of regaining that connection to nature. I feel lost when I don't do something that relates to nature. I'd love to be outdoors anyway, but I just feel now even more than ever it's what brings me my solace. It keeps me sane throughout the day, and I don't know what I'd do without it, and I don't want to lose that connection that I'm rebuilding. And it's so important to me to build on that connection I have and help others build on it too, within my community or wherever, whoever may watch this. So I found my passion in life, and that is to be in connection with the natural world, and that's so precious to me, and I just really want to hold on to it. I will include as many links in the description box as I can for vital kind of like information and resources to help you along your journey to be eco-conscious, eco-friendly, nature-minded. Trust me, you will benefit so much emotionally, mentally, physically from being more connected to the natural world. We are out of sync with the rest of the natural rhythm that exists. We should contribute to it and take from it the same way that other animals and species do. They all work in rhythm, in synchronicity, to keep our world pure, clean, thriving, not just surviving. And we've brought in this element of where it is survival of the fittest, survival of the most adapt, survival of the most, you know, evolutionary fit for, and it shouldn't, I know there is an element of that has existed for thousands and thousands of years before us, but it shouldn't be a case of where some species are completely thriving at the expense of others by denying them basic needs, and in terms of resources, habitats, food, where they can live and be free and be able to do what they would normally do and what comes naturally to them. So, kind of drum roll moment, let's see how well I did with this quiz. I don't know what the answers are. I'm hoping that I've kind of guessed correctly, so we're just going into the notepad now. So the blue clues were swifts. I think that was possibly the easiest to guess, purely because of that very distinctive call. They're all very distinctive in their own way, but that kind of car alarm, high-pitched, shrieking, screeching kind of noise is very distinctive for swifts. Okay, so the yellow was the house martins. Oh, so that was the yellow clues, that was these ones, and that means the swallows were the green clues. So that is a little bit of a bummer that maybe I've got those wrong, but doesn't matter. I feel like I've really learned something today. I'm actually going to go and do a little bit more investigating about swift swallows and house martins and the accompanying sand martins as well, because I think it's so special that these birds fly, you know, hundreds and thousands of miles to get to the UK shores to breed here through the summer, and we should be more appreciative of their, you know, their presence and try and acknowledge it more and look for it. I'm definitely going to be looking more skyward for them now. I'm pretty sure for the last few months I have actually noticed that there are some migratory birds that live near my sister's estate. I think they may be house martins, and I'm pretty sure I've seen some swifts about in the last couple of weeks too. So fingers crossed that we all work together to improve these bird species populations and all of these other animals and insects that are suffering at the hands of human consequence and contribution to this world. We all need to kind of become collectively active, collectively responsible. That was the word that was the main kind of point and stress of the United Nations World Oceans Day last Wednesday, but it applies to all of our environmental issues. We have to be collectively responsible for our actions. So thus far we have the science, we have the knowledge, and now we need to figure out the innovation and the invention which is going to carry us forward to a more sustainable, greener world where not only humans thrive, and I think we'd be better for it if we take more, you know, advice from nature and how things work naturally rather than fighting against it all the time. It feels like we're fighting against the current of what is natural and what comes natural to other species. We're just at odds with it, and that is so wrong. And I think we need to take a step back, realise our position, and just because we have, you know, roamed unchallenged for centuries as the apex predator of this ecosystem does not mean we have dominion. I actually went to see Jurassic Park last weekend, and funnily enough, you wouldn't believe it considering it, you know, it's kind of like a fantasy film, but there was definitely a lot of truth and relatability in it, which I am going to try and put into a video very soon. But yeah, there's this idea of dominion, that we have dominion over this planet. That is not the case, or it should not be the case. And now, as we kind of go forward and know what we have done, we have to realise that we have to challenge that dominion ourselves in terms of minorities of the population that exist now that are very eco-friendly and activists. There are quite a few people out there, quite a few well-known names, and people that are fighting for the natural world. They need to stand up against these, whether it be masses of population that are contributing and allowing and enabling companies, governments, organisations to take from our planet and our world. We have to stand against those now and make a stand, make a position to challenge that dominion that they've kind of took it on themselves to take. So see ya in the next video.
I'm a real wild one. Wild one. Wild one. Wild one. Wild.
Hello, we are on to day 18 of 30 Days Wild, and it is the big wild weekend where a few extra events are kind of organised and kind of a way of encouraging people to do something different. Tonight's activity was a camp out, whether it be in your back garden or your living room. Originally I had planned to do this in the back garden, but since that scorching weather that we had yesterday of 32 odd degrees, we are down to like 12 degrees and it's a bit damp and a bit rainy, but I might try and spend a little bit of time outside a little bit later. But for now, I've camped out in the living room. I'm going to watch David Attenborough because there's no one that kind of epitomises the natural world more than David Attenborough, and what a way to kind of spend a chilled Saturday evening watching a nature programme, and with David Attenborough, of course, with that lovely soothing voice he has. And hopefully there might be a little bit of a clear sky later, so potentially some stargazing and a hot drink outside, maybe, even if it's just for 10 minutes, just to engage with nature at night time, because I haven't really done a lot of that, so that would be fun to do.
This series will celebrate the natural wonders that remain and reveal what we must preserve to ensure people and nature thrive.
Smokey's Rangers.
Yeah.
I get the feeling this is going to be quite hard. Starts in 60 seconds. Hello from a BBOWT volunteer in Oxford. We will go live at 6 PM. That's what they're saying on the chat. It's not long. 182 waiting now. Do you think it's going to be hard questions?
Yeah.
See, I would say I'm fairly knowledgeable, but I think even I'm not going to be sure about this.
So I just gonna have to see how it works out. Not anymore.
Oh, it says waiting for the Wildlife Trust. It's gone up to 239 now.
So as the more you get in it, the more likely it is to crash.
Possibly. There's quite a lot of young children. It says William 7 and Alice 3 from Wolverhampton. I saw 8, someone that was 8. Isles of Scilly. Has it gone 6? Not quite, 1759. Big wild quiz. Do you think I need to turn the volume up? I probably should, shouldn't I? Can all hear then.
You farted.
I'm not. Hey, starting! Oh! Starting in 2 minutes. So that's because I said something. Erin 9.
Start working out. Ginger cat says hi.
Aww, that's cute. Age 7. That's really nice as young people, isn't it? Age 10. Oh, someone says good luck. Gonna need it. Are you gonna input salts? Salt and beans? Early aged 8 from Cambridgeshire. 257 watching now. There's quite a lot of seen the name Erin 3 times. Zach, age 7, says hi, apparently. Aww.
Sounds like Miss Farm.
You're awful. Funny. Can you believe it's day 19 already? I've been doing this for almost 20 days, doing something every day. Hopefully I'm not the only adult in here by themselves. Oh, bless them. No, you're not.
It's like
What is that?
it's like
Okay, that's okay.
Tropical cactus thing.
yeah. But there was one.
There we go.
What
Let's start with
was
something.
it?
That's on my
I
phone too.
think some of them look a bit rude.
Hello! No expenses were spared in the producing of that incredible introduction. So, with a big hello, welcome and fantastic wonderment. Hello and welcome and fantastic movement to this, the big wild quiz of 2022 here on the 19th day of 30 Days Wild. My name is David Oakes. I am an ambassador of the Wildlife Trust. And to my right, we have the glorious Sophie Bevell, another same ambassador of the Wildlife Trust. How are you doing, Sophie?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Very ready to get quizzing, and you're in for a fantastic evening.
I love how there's always a bookshelf.
So that sells it. Oh, yay!
Well, we are racing through this quiz. It is nearly 6:15, so it must be time for round 2, which is one of my favourites. It's the sound round. We play you the sounds of animals and wild things, and you have to guess what or who is making this noise.
Round 2. Sound round.
Completely uninterested, isn't
Right,
it?
okay, here we go. This is question 6, or question 1 and 2. I'm not going to go down that route again. Question 6. Who is making this sound?
Seagull.
That's a goal.
Can we have it one more time, please, magic technical people?
That person still keeps putting the answers in. Stop.
Wow.
I love that sound. I feel
She
like
did it, she
she's
keeps doing it.
phone of bits, or some kind of. She's
Ice
trying to
cream
get
of
the sound
choice.
out from between my toes.
If I remember
Ooh, that's a
correctly,
good question.
hang on, if I remember correctly, from the first ever quiz we ever did, was it mint chocolate chip?
It was mint chocolate chip. That's
Yeah.
Salt and
impressive.
sweetheart. Do we
Thank
have
you.
to
Hopefully not too creepy.
destroy the planet?
I remember it because it was not. So, there we go. Mint chocolate
There you go.
chip. Yay.
If your favourite ice cream is also mint chocolate chip, you can have a bonus point.
Let us know in the chat box.
It's
Right.
hilarious.
Question
Yeah, go on.
7. Who
Sultan.
is making this noise?
Sultan.
I think that's a frog.
Great.
We've got lots of messages in from people saying
Or
they've got 5
two.
out of 5, some got 4 out of 5. Oh, George's got 2.
Mint chocolate
You
chip,
can catch up,
vegan
especially
style.
if your favourite ice cream
Yeah.
is mint chocolate chip. Hello to Zaid, you're 4, to Max 5, Martha 3. Wendy got the last question wrong, but Jim, her husband, did. That's the joy of partnerships. Wonderful thing. Hello to everybody. If you want to write in and say some of the wild things that you've seen over the last 19 of the 30 days wild, that might be kind of fun. Because I do love saying hello to you all, but I also want to know what you see. For example, Sophie, what wild thing have you seen today?
Well, what have I seen? The question is, what have I not seen?
Would you say it's
I
more
saw
of
a
a
Are you
frog
looking
than
out
a
the window
toad?
now? Are you looking
I'd
out the
say
window?
Yes,
I've seen-
I'm having an emergency
Right.
scout.
think if I put frog slash toad,
It's very
I'm
glossy.
still,
actually,
it's
so
an
I think it'll be
amphibian,
that
right?
one
So
again.
I'm going to reward myself
And
regardless.
I can see badger behind you there, David. I trust it's not a real one.
No, it's not.
Okay. Alas.
And probably
He's very handsome, isn't he?
Sultan.
He reminds me of that.
He
That he reminds me of that actor.
Who is making this
Who is
one
it?
sound?
I think that's a deer again.
Inimitable, I find. Ooh, an adder. Someone saw. Is it Chris?
Chris saw an adder. Well done, Chris.
I haven't
Love
seen
an
an
adder.
adder in a really long time, and they are beautiful. And yes,
actor he
very well
looks
done.
like?
Seeing an adder. Foxglove.
What's that
I mean,
actor
that's
looks
what.
like?
Really nice. 3 buzzards.
Hey, don't gloss over foxgloves so quickly. Timothy saw some white foxgloves. Foxgloves are brilliant. And they're out everywhere at the moment. And I think they're brilliant. The sun literally right outside that window there. I think they're wonderful. But they are poisonous, so don't go eating them, because that would be poor show.
A shame. Shall we do question 9 of the sound round? Who is making this noise?
Oh,
Woody Woodpecker.
Sounds like my next door neighbour with their loft conversion.
There you go.
There it is again.
Maybe
Excellent.
your next door neighbour is employing a whole group of these animals to convert a loft.
That would be incredibly. It's all about nature connectedness, really, isn't it? That's what 30 Days Wild is all about.
All about. But actually, it's really about Jessica Price seeing puffins and Laura seeing 2 young velvet bucks and a dappled fawn.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful. Do you like the sort of
I
beautiful
saw a
peacock butterfly?
very fat pigeon. That's the other part of my day.
someone says red kite. Well, we've
Okay.
seen them.
Excellent stuff.
Final question of the sound round. This is question number 10. Who is making this noise?
Cricket. Sounds like a cricket.
Cricket.
This makes me feel a bit itchy, that one.
Told you it's an insect.
A grass snake. Emma, or Gemma. Gemma. Apologies, Gemma. A grass snake eating a frog in the pond. I mean, that's some David Attenborough.
Do you think that was a
drama
cricket?
right there.
Can't
In
hear
Britain.
anything.
It sounded like
It did sound a bit crickety.
That'd be very exciting.
because cricket they
Grass
chirp
snake.
their
Overlooked, I feel.
temperature, don't they?
As with many reptiles.
I mean, it could be wrong. Catherine, he's got the
I
whole
think
world
the
in his
grass snake was
hands.
the last wild snake that I saw.
He's got the whole.
I don't see enough snakes. I love snakes.
That's nice.
Anyway.
Chris and his answers.
Stop,
Should we go back through sound
we should,
round?
yes.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think we've done very well on that
Okay,
one.
let's go through round 2, the sound round. Question 6. Who is making this noise? Sound, please.
That one was okay.
Uncanny. It's a seagull. A gull.
There's no
Yeah,
such thing as a
that's fascinating.
seagull, as in they're gulls.
I know they're a fairly widespread family of birds, but there's just loads of them. There's loads of birds. Gulls. I actually asked a bird ranger on Lundy Island recently if he could say anything redeeming about seagulls, and he did say no. No.
They are
There is
endangered.
a place for everything in this
Are
wonderful
endangered though.
biodiversity world. Yeah, they are.
Endangered.
They might be. Kittiwakes are.
Gosh, you said them.
Constantly seen them.
It depends on the type though. Kittiwakes are.
Someone's put rabbit. I don't think that's right.
Oh.
That's a frog. Definitely a frog.
Yay!
Apparently that noise is often used between frogs to attract mates.
Yeah.
Which
It's a mating call. Because what they
Well,
do is
it's
they
very
put
interesting.
puffs out
That
of
thing.
It's a
themselves.
fascinating sound. I wouldn't say that I would
It's a vibration of their
sort of
cords.
feel attracted to something that made that noise, but you know,
I do
it's
that on the other day.
so could work on.
It can be incredibly loud when you find a
Sometimes.
frog breeding site and then you've got them all there looking for.
Somebody's put redeeming feature of seagulls.
It can be
When you
very,
hear
very
them, you feel
noisy.
like you're on holiday, even when you're at the local tip. There's a redeeming
If
feature.
you're in the frog cage, it can be very echoey.
A bittern at Clay
Question
Norfolk
8,
Wildlife
Sophie, what
Trust.
is this?
When we were on holiday, said about a bittern.
That is a fox.
Oh, it's a fox.
A very harrowing noise at circa 11:30 p.m. on a winter's evening. Walking home.
Never thought of a fox.
I've never heard
The
it
police have received many phone calls believing that a fox scream is actually a damn
A child.
Belinda's trap.
Yeah, yeah.
Or a child.
Hold the phone. Robin, age 54, saw a bittern today at Clay Norfolk Wildlife Trust. I've never seen this.
Beautiful bird.
They are there at the
I've
minute.
always wanted to hear / see a booming bittern. Amazing animals.
Norfolk seems to be the place for birds aplenty at the moment. They've got the bee eaters there at the moment, which look quite incredible.
In Cromer, Rachel.
Yeah.
Me too.
We've got
Google them, they're
Lindsay,
really bright blue, they're
Cassie
beautiful,
Sloan,
they're
who is
bee eater
the wild
birds.
snake. Chris saw a dragonfly, love a dragonfly, invertebrates, fantastic. What else have we got here? Baby oyster catchers,
Oh, that's
goldfinches,
cute.
scarlet tiger moths. There's no biodiversity crisis going on, everyone's seeing loads of stuff.
508 people watching.
Including, of which, let's go through the answer for question 9. Who was making this noise?
It's a woodpecker.
What is
It's
it?
raised £100 for the.
Essex Wildlife Trust is one of their challenges. That's good, isn't it?
Like, give a little.
They must be kids though, so it's Josie
Well,
Copper and
the
Quinn.
telling
Yeah.
you that
Chasing
this is their territory and stay
We
clear
have a bearded dragon.
from a woodpecker.
Like, oh, just love climbing trees. Question 10. Who is making this noise?
Could it be a grasshopper?
It is the sound of holiday and summer. For me, it is a cricket.
Well done, Rachel! Sultan!
Told ya. I know them because they get
There
them
are
in the
loads of species of
house.
grasshopper in the UK. And if I'm right, I think that Isle of Man has some particularly rare species of crickets.
Are you
which
in spot
aren't really found.
this evening, David?
No, I'm not, as you can see by my wonderful new t-shirt with the wonderful new Wildlife Trust
Oh,
logo
it's
on.
baggy
I
now.
say
It's
represent
massive,
all
kinda cool.
wonderful Wildlife Trusts.
All 2,300 nature reserves.
Wonderful.
Iconic. An iconic.
Out of all that, we got 3 wrong. That's all.
Very important place for lots
We got
of species.
27 out of 30.
Wildflowers.
I don't think that was too bad. That one, that round 5, that one was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
There was too many options that possibly could be, because it was
Have
very
you ever heard of chuff?
determined by what he had in his garden, and that's
I
not
have
really
actually.
very
We heard
easy.
some chuffs over on the Isle of Man not too long ago.
Yeah,
Bigger.
once again, there it is.
Sorry,
It's
other
amazing.
wildlife trusts are available. Yeah. Hey, I just like islands. Enough of that already. You stay there with your Dartmoors and your Exmoors and your inbuilt like things. I'll take the Biggie Island bits.
Oh, they enjoyed it
So that was it. That
a lot.
was all
That's
of the
really
questions.
good. I love that.
That was the big wild quiz.
27 out of
People aren't
30.
coming in.
Pop culture.
Every-
Hello, we are back for day 20 of 30 Days Wild. We are 2/3 of the way into this challenge for this month of June. We have been so lucky with the weather most of the time so far. Today I am back with helping creatures within kind of like my garden area. So today I have kind of picked pollinators, specifically butterflies. Are you excited about that too, are you? And I'm going to finish off this Butterfly Puddling Station. So it's a well-known fact that butterflies feed on nectar, but they need to source water and minerals that they need for their healthiness and for them to thrive as well as survive from their local kind of feeding area. So creating and providing a... No! So to provide those, we use a puddling station, so that they're not so reliant on whether it be a puddle or any other water supply that they may come across, as they can't land on water. Creating something that's kind of like different levels so they are able to access the minerals and the water, that just helps these creatures have a bit of a guiding hand in the right direction to survival as well as thriving. So I've already got this plant tray set up with some sand in the bottom. You can either use sand and soil, or one or the other, sand or soil, and have some stones, gravel, all slightly different varying sizes, and then we just fill it up so far with water, but leave enough room at the top for butterflies to be able to kind of stand on the different size stones so that they are not submerged in the water. Okay, so I'm going to start with this massive big old bag of kind of small stones that we've had for a long time, used inside. I think they're kind of like small decorative stones. So I'm just going to use a few of these just to line the bottom on top of the sand, creating kind of different variances of texture and sort of layer in it. Spread those out. Try a little bit more than that, I think. Especially when it's hot as well, you have to make sure that there is still water. I'll try and do it so it's a bit, possibly a bit more. Oh, it's so sunny this afternoon, it's lovely. The only problem is that, you know, these extremes of weather, they're indicative of climate change and how things are changing, not just on like a daily occurrence. These kind of extreme heat conditions, they build up to create problems with habitat in terms of wildfires and global warming and rising sea levels. Okay, so let's use those stones, just do those, hopefully that looks okay. Try not to compact this down too much. And my garden is readily full of gravel, so I've just kind of gone round and got kind of varying different sizes of pieces of gravel, so that there's just that variance and difference in kind of layers and things like that. I've got kind of some flat stones as well, so that it just gives the butterflies and any other pollinators. So I think bees do also need access to water, so it's just to give those creatures their fighting start. They may need to keep them going. Like I say, all different varying sizes of stones and pieces of gravel and pebbles, and try to get some flatter pieces too, so that they've got a choice. I really hope this works, because funny enough I haven't really seen a lot of butterflies around, so it really would be nice to kind of, I'm going to build it up as a little bit of a like area. There we go. So far so good, I think. Now we're getting some slightly bigger pebbles and stones. Put a couple together possibly, maybe one over here, one right in the centre. Okay, a couple more, like a bigger one there, slightly bigger stone there, and then I've got these two kind of pieces of slate also. Pop a piece in there, maybe move that pebble and have that as a centerpiece possibly. Okay, and one more, possibly in there. Okay, how does this look? There we go. So I just kind of need to add some water onto it now. I'm going to go over to the water butt we have, and hopefully there is some rainwater left. improvising slightly in the sense that I'm using some water I already... Oh dear, that'll scare the butterflies off, Mother, thank you. I think I'm definitely going to have to get some more water. It's not very clean. Just have to remember to make sure that... Blimey, I hope this water clears. Oh, this isn't going to work, is it? Follow the instructions. Right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. No, he's not coming, is he? I'm a bit concerned at the colour of this water, but I'll give it a go, and then if needs be I'll have to maybe clear the water out one day and change it over, but I followed the instructions. I'm just popping this carefully over here where I want it to go. Fortunately, it just seems to look a little bit on the brim side right now. But who knows? Maybe not. I have to see. Watch this space.